Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'm going to answer a question from a cost-conscious gentleman who wants to look great without breaking the bank. So the question comes from Albinacro, who says, "Hi Ash, I have admiration for your sartorial style. Unfortunately, I am in no position to afford a lot of the high quality garments, shoes and accessories like fancy shoes, Rolex or Seiko watches, because I simply don't have the financial ability at the moment. I've had to purchase clothing that meet my budget whilst not bruising the bank. What is your advice or take for the chap on a budget? What advice will you give to somebody who wants to build a wardrobe of formal attire with this financial status?" Well, sir, it's not an uncommon situation you find yourself in. I got to say, probably on a weekly basis, I will have a question from a gentleman who is perhaps seeking to dress a little better, a little smarter, more sartorial, but they are being held back by the fact that, basically, we're in a cost of living crisis. People cannot afford expensive items. High quality items cost a lot of money and we have to cut our cloth accordingly. However, I would say, and this is, with careful consideration and having lived this life for a very long time, decades now, I think building a formal wardrobe for a well-dressed man who seeks to look good is now more achievable than at any other time in the history of sartorial style, because of the many avenues that we can go down to find clothing to meet our financial means, so that we can look our best and show our best side to the world. So I have a number of tips here which are going to help you dress well without destroying your financial status. Now, my first tip for you is very clearly, start with the essentials, all right? And simply what I would do is just map out what you want to have in your collection of clothing. Get your journal, get a sheet of paper and a pen and write down exactly what you need. Otherwise, I've seen this happen so many times, guys will go off and they'll buy something over here, buy something over there because they see it on the cheap in a sale, and they end up buying multiples of the same things or things which are not really necessary for their outcome of being an intentionally well-dressed man. So write down what you need and focus on the foundation items, which should be very versatile garments that you can wear in a number of situations which are going to look great, so you get more bang for your buck. And the sort of thing I'm talking about, right? If you want to be your sort of typical well-dressed fellow about town, you're going to need a suit. I would suggest you either have a navy suit or a charcoal grey suit. These are great colours. They can be split up and worn as individual items. You can wear, your navy suit jacket maybe as a blazer, should you need to do so, with a pair of chinos, if you want to lower the tone a little. Or you can wear it as the full ensemble suit for those special occasions where you need to look your very best. They're universally achievable as well, because if you're looking for a navy suit or a charcoal grey suit, they're the most common. They're the ones you're going to be able to find at the best prices. Then it comes to things like dress shirts. For me, it's either a white dress shirt or a blue dress shirt. They're interchangeable. You can wear them for pretty much any situation, casual or formal. Make sure though to get your shirts with barrel cuffs, because they're much more flexible. A cuff with a shirt with a French cuff or a double cuff, which leans more towards the formal, they are less versatile. Quite simply, it's very hard to actually roll up a French cuff because you get a big sort of wad of material on your forearm or at your elbow. So go for the barrel cuff, much more flexible, and keep the colours very wearable. Either white or light blue, like I'm wearing now. They go with everything. Go with all colours, so you get maximum flexibility. And when it comes to shoes, right, now there's a few trains of thought. Everybody will say get the black cap-toe Oxford because it goes with everything. And okay, if you want to own one pair of shoes, maybe the black cap-toe Oxford is going to tick the box for you. But for me, personally, I prefer a little bit of colour, so I wouldn't have a sort of plain Oxford toe cap. black cap toe, I would go for something like a semi-brogue, a little bit of broguing on the front, much more interesting, lowers the tone a little. You can wear it in more situations. Or if you want to be very savvy, go for an oxblood or burgundy colour. That way you can wear it very, very flexibly across the widest range of your clothing, from chinos to denim trousers to your suit when you need to. So pick those very valuable signature items and focus in on them. Now, my second tip for you for dressing to a budget is never ever discount pre-owned or second-hand, right? That's what they really are, second-hand clothing. Because let me tell you, there are some amazing treasures which have hardly been worn out there, which can bring you the look which you seek as an intentionally well-dressed man for a fraction of the price. A lot of people discount wearing pre-owned. They don't like the idea of wearing something that has been worn by somebody else. But I say to you, throw it in the washing machine, give it a good wash, it doesn't matter, and you're going to be paying pennies on the pound. Let me give you an example, right? The jacket, the shirt and the tie that I am wearing right now, they all come from very reputable brands, and they all have been purchased pre-owned, either from Vinted or from eBay or from some other form of online sort of purchasing mechanism. Or, of course, you've got charity stores and thrift shops wherever you shop. They'll be in every high street. But my ensemble today, entirely second-hand and absolutely bought for a fraction of what they should have cost if I'd gone out and bought them in the shop itself. And I'm quite content with this look, to be honest. I don't care that somebody else has worn this tie. What do I care? It just looks great and I own it. That's the only important thing. Now, when it comes to the accessories, you talked about not having the financial means to buy things like Rolex watches and Seiko watches. Well, that's absolutely fine. Loads of us are in that position, right? We've all been there. In the meantime, though, there are equally attractive watches out there for a fraction of the price. You know, never discount brands like Orient, which do some amazing classic-looking watches. Or even, is it the Casio Edifice range? Again, very stylish watches, very inexpensive, and they look absolutely fabulous. So never be hog-tied to these really expensive brands, because that's really what they're all about. They are selling the brand and the name, their identity. The actual product is just as good as some of these, you know, far cheaper brands. Don't get locked into this brand thing, this brand sort of hierarchy. Get what you can afford, what looks good. That's absolutely fine. Now, the next tip I have for you with your perhaps clothes you already have to make them look even better is get them altered. Every town, every city will have somebody who's a tailor or a seamstress who can alter clothes for you. And let me tell you, a really modestly priced suit from maybe a department store, which can cost just a couple of £100. If you take it to a tailor, just a few alterations, maybe in the cut of the garments, the length of the sleeves and the leg of the trouser, will make that suit look like something which is far, far more expensive. A good seamstress or a good tailor can make you look great on a budget. It is one of the best modestly priced investments that an intentionally well-dressed man can make in his outfit, and that is just invest a little bit in the tailoring. Now, my next tip for you is to really go for quality over quantity. A habit which I see lots of guys doing when they suddenly discover the sartorial world and they want to start dressing well is they go out and they start buying lots and lots of ties, shirts, sports jackets. They just think that to own as many as they can and fill their wardrobe is the best way forward. But let me tell you, it is not. Better to buy one high quality sports jacket which has been altered for you, which looks great, than to own 10 inexpensive ones of a low quality material which simply don't look good. Now, focus in on those signature pieces if you're going for quality. Maybe you're going to have to save up for a while, but when you do, get yourself a lovely navy blazer. it's worth splurging a bit of money on because it's something you can wear over and over repeatedly in rotation with nice shirts, nice trousers, chinos, grey flannel slacks, one or two items, just like a navy blazer, and shoes particularly. If you're buying a nice pair of leather shoes, Goodyear welted, high quality, buy one pair. Better than buying 5 or 6 inexpensive, cemented, glued together shoes, which I'll be utterly honest with you, they're not going to last very long, they're not going to look very good, and when people see you wearing cheap shoes, they're going to judge you and think of you as the cheap shoe guy. It is better to buy one good quality pair of decent shoes because it's going to last so much longer and it's going to present the best image of you as possible. So focus on quality, not quantity, to get the most from your investment. Now, my next tip for you is to think about those accessories which a lot of people sort of hemorrhage piles of their sartorial money into. Things like ties, pocket squares, cufflinks, nonsense like that, which in reality is merely window dressing to the main event, which are the clothes that you wear. Ties, for instance. All right, a tie, purely decorative item. It does not have to be made from the highest quality silk when you are in a financially sort of, challenging situation. A polyester tie looks just as good, right? It does. People will not admit this, but a polyester tie is just as good as a silk tie if that's all that you can afford. Pocket squares. Yes, you can spend a fortune with top-end silk pocket squares from these high-end retailers in, Savile Row or Jermyn Street in London. But the fact is, you can cut out a bit of material from an old shirt that you're about to throw away and turn that into a pocket square, and it can be created for no money at all. So you can cut those corners until you're in a position to go and spend big money when the time is right at some point in the future. But do not get locked into this train of thought, you've got to buy expensive accessories. They are the minor elements to your outfit, so just invest minor amounts of money into them. Now, my next tip for you is to know when to splurge your money and when to save your money, because there are some items that it is worth putting money into, and I'm talking about outer coats and maybe nice shoes as well, because these are the things which are going to be around for a long time and are going to pay you back, because they might be with you for 10 years or longer. A nice overcoat, for instance, right? You buy a nice overcoat or a nice trench coat. Yes, in my country, you're gonna wear it for about 6 months of the year, but it is something which, a good overcoat, I would expect it to last 20 years. So it's worth putting a little bit of money into it. Same with shoes. A pair of good quality, Goodyear welted shoes, nice leather. You look after them, you maintain them. It's a 20-year investment. So it's worth putting a bit of money into it. And when you've splurged, well, there are items that you can save on. We've already talked about things like ties, but dress shirts. Right? You don't have to spend a pile of money on a dress shirt. Yes, you can go to a bespoke shirt maker and spend £600 on a shirt. Or you can buy a shirt for £6 from eBay. Save a fortune. It's under most of your clothing. It's a layering garment. It's hardly going to be noticed. So know when to splurge and when to save. And what time of year to splurge and save. Remember, there are going to be sales at certain times of year. Buy the items that you seek, your big budget items, out of season. Overcoats always sell much cheaper when it's warmer. Never try and buy an overcoat in the middle of winter. You'll be paying top dollar. So think about when you're going to buy and how you're going to buy. So there we go, sir. I hope I have given you some ideas today which will help you get the wardrobe that you seek of sartorial items without bruising your bank, as you've said. And always remember, there's a discount to be had somewhere. Outlet stores, factory shops. There are times of year where things are just being sold a lot cheaper, out of season and so on. So always have in your mind never to pay full price, if you can help it, for whatever you're seeking to purchase. And remember those second-hand routes as well. I think they look pretty good on me today, and I have paid probably less than 10% than the items I'm wearing were actually at retail originally. Think of it like that. and you'll get the wardrobe that you want for a fraction of the price. So I hope my tips have been of some assistance to you today, sir, and you will dress sartorially in the future without financial devastation. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget, give it a like, subscribe for more like this, ask me a question, just like this gentleman today, drop it in via an email. And if you'd like to support the channel, best thing you can do is to become a patron. You will then benefit from the additional video content I make each week, exclusively for my patrons. Follow the link in the show notes below to find out more. So, until we meet again, look good, but don't spend a pile to do so. And I'll see you soon.